war. That's what we're back to. We started the war last time siding with the Stormcloaks. Was that the best idea? I'm not entirely sure. Both sides make some interesting points, and it does feel like my favourite places are all within the Empire, so maybe not. But it's a little late for us to be having regrets now. What we need to do at this moment is continue the war. And how do we do that? Well, we need to steal some Imperial orders to falsify and deliver to Mortal. Yes, another favourite. Bit of variety though, so I'll take it. We're heading to a place called Dragon's Bridge, which is a village I've never actually been to before. Also, teleporting to our closest location, we find a talking statue. This is definitely a quest I have forgotten that I started, but hey, priorities, one quest at a time. We head to the Tavern of Dragon's Bridge and ask about the courier, and she has no interest in helping us. We do, however, manage to loosen her lips with gold, and sure enough, the courier will arrive soon. I had a look around, but I couldn't see them, so I went back to wait in the inn. They arrived soon enough, and I decided to walk up to them and see if I could convince them to give up their papers. They were not convinced. It turned out murdering them would also get me in trouble. Whoops. Reload time. Stealing them is the answer. We managed to do it quickly, almost like we're a member of the Thieves Guild or something. We take those plans back to Galmar and get them changed to our advantage, and then I head to Morphal, good old Morphal, and hand in those reports. And now we're off to attack another fort, Fort Snowhawk. This will be easy, right? Yes it will. Laying siege to a fort will be easy. Firstly, I already had the fast travel unlocked for it, so getting there was easy. As for the fort itself, no challenge at all. I had no problem with any of the battle, and that didn't change. We successfully drove them out, and I gotta admit, seeing our men just pelting arrows at fleeing soldiers wasn't a great feeling, but I'm guessing it's more of a AI logic is bad thing rather than Stormcloaks are evil thing. With that being done, we go back to Jarl Ulfric, who's very pleased with what we did and dispatches us to another camp. I expected a new mission, but nope, just straight to a fort. Fort Greenwall, to be precise. I did end up having to reload because I didn't feel like dealing with a bloody dragon. However, the dragon's inevitable, so I guess we'll have to kill it. Such a hard life being a dragonborn and all. Next we go to the fort, and it's another battle. It's always interesting starting these. There's nobody around, and then suddenly, full attack! This fort provides no problems than last time. The biggest problem I had was with accidentally setting a lot on fire. I will admit though, when you're just brutally massacring soldiers, it is hard not to feel like the bad guy. Bad guy or not, we got the fort taken with a nice 10G achievement for our trouble, and headed back to Ulfric, and once again he sent us to another camp to deal with another fort. This is starting to feel very predictable, and sure enough I get to the camp and have to deal with necromancers. Okay, but then afterwards it's the same as before. At least we're getting good at this, and we have plenty of experience doing so. Maybe this fort will be different. No, it's not. It's exactly the same as the others. I do like the easiness of it compared to some of the dungeons we've had. A bit more variety would be fun. With the last death we're done, and we head back to the camp where we finally get some variety. We're taking Solitude. We head there and Ulfric is finally out of the castle, I know, right? We try to listen to his speech, but there's some very rude soldiers that keep interrupting him. God, I wish I could kill them. Once they finally shut up, we charge. And by we, I mean everyone but Ulfric. Although he does eventually turn up, so that's fine. Taking the fort doesn't feel much different from, well, taking a fort. You know, taking the city just really is no different. It's obviously a lot bigger and there's a lot more soldiers, but otherwise it's much the same. Eventually I get in, head to the main palace where General Tullius was when we met him long ago. And sure enough, he and his legate are still here. We try and convince her to step aside, but she won't listen, so it's a battle. I decide to focus on Tullius, beat him down so we don't have to kill her, which worked in Whiterun. Doesn't work here though, we had to kill her. Well, I didn't, but she had to die. And then it's just Tullius, the man I maybe should have sided with. It's hard to know if I picked the right side or the wrong side, but I picked what I picked and it's done. I'm offered the chance to execute him, but I'm not a murderer, so I refuse. Ulfric had no problem with murder though, and I had no problem stealing a man's clothes while getting a nice achievement. In my defence though, it's unique armour. Makes a great trophy. All we have now is just one big speech. Solitude gets to keep its original Jarl, which is nice, and also perhaps a good concession to her considering Ulfric killed her husband. And that's done. The civil war is over, and perhaps unsurprisingly, my side has won. That brings the question of what now? And this isn't a question for next time, because we've still got more episodes to go, and Ulfric isn't very helpful with information. I eventually figured something out though. Blood on the Ice. Remember that house I bought in Windhelm, the one that was full of blood and had a murder room? I never did finish that quest, and it seems like a good time to get this done. No real evidence here to speak of. I eventually figure out what to do when I talk to a guard. Not that he knows anything, but he does recommend someone for me to talk to, and that's a good start. Together we come to the conclusion that Wunford, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, the mage is the butcher, the murderer that plagues the city of Windhelm and owned that house. So we go and report him, and he has some indignation of course, but he still gets arrested, and that is that, right? We must be done with the quest now. No. When we come back a few days later, we talk to a guard, and there's another killing. Oh, so I guess Wunford, whatever, isn't the butcher. Oops. We go and visit him, and after he gives us some destruction magic training, we tell him he's innocent, and for some reason he's not shocked. We know when the killer's going to strike, so we need to patrol the streets. I end up spending some time wandering around aimlessly, not entirely sure what I'm doing, until I get to the market and witness a murder. That's the problem. I wanted to stop the murder, not witness it. I reload, and this time I stop the murder by physically putting myself in the way and attacking him. I was happy to try and just catch him, but he wasn't happy to stop running. So now he's dead. And that's the quest done. And now I'm decorating my house, which it turns out is really expensive. I can't afford it all, but I can afford to get rid of the murder stuff and get a bedroom. So I do that. I really like it too. It'll be fun when I can finally afford to decorate the rest. With that though, I'd say we're done for today. We won a civil war and we stopped a mass murderer. That doesn't make for a good episode. I don't know what does. Thank you for watching, thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time. I have no idea what I'm doing next time, but I will see you then.